Hi, everybody, and welcome to the second edition of our step-by-step uploading your LinkedIn video. Just to go over really quickly what we did in the first video, we built a branded banner for our pseudo person, Veronica Jones. And you might remember that she was also based on a real live client that I helped a couple of months ago. Who is a graduate and is looking for work in the field, who has not yet actually acquired a job in civil engineering yet. So we have a nice branded banner for her for the industry that she's looking for. We've got a lovely, inviting and professional looking photograph of her. We have a headline that has her value proposition laid out in there. And again, important because your headline follows you everywhere that you engage on LinkedIn, so that if you're commenting in somebody else's posts, they don't have to actually look up your profile. They can see right at the top what it is that you do. And so you could probably see why that's very valuable. We added a robust about section that has a call to read, an enticing question, what does the best mean to you, with some buttons that encourage whoever's reading it to press the see more button and look further, read on further. It's written in the first person. It talks about passions and who they are and benefits that this person would bring to an employer. It has a call to action, how you can get a hold of it very quickly without having to look it up. And the easier it is for people, the better. We have specialties at the bottom that are not only do they show your skills and qualifications, they're also really awesome SEO drivers. Next, we added a featured section, something that offers a nice pop of color, gives some interest, draws the eye in. And here is where I also suggested would be a great place for you to upload your video resume. Again, actually the one that is in the resources section, Madeline Mann made this video that was really, really good on how to do a video resume. And again, no points lost if you don't actually add that, but I can tell you that a hiring manager would be very impressed if they see that. Alrighty, next we went into experience sections, and again, she does not have the title yet for the job that she's looking for. So what we did is we used as many transferable skills as we could that are relevant to the positions she seeks, things like a keen eye for detail, to name a few. Talked about her experience in terms of achievements. See here, results were immediate, optimal, and customer service feedback score surpassed the 55% goal. So there's something that is that really, really speaks to that old STAR formula. You know, the results are tangible, and also specialties and other things. You can always pause this video and take a look through it if you want some better ideas for yourself. Also added the project intern role that she had. So even though she wasn't technically working for the company, she knows that just having it on here, someone would know that she knows enough about the type of field that she has direct experience with it. So if you've done something, volunteering, project intern, or even as part of your practicum, that would be a really good place to place it right here as well. Okay. Now, one of the things I did not put in was the education section. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some education things as we go along. So to open that up, you hit background and then education. And here's where you'd start actually inputting the information. Now we know she went to Seneca College, that she received a certificate. And, okay. And one of the things, just as I'm typing here, unless it's something outstanding, generally you don't include your high school, okay? And this was civil engineering. Yeah, there you go. And I know that she wound up with great marks, so I'm going to make her perfect. Anything also that you can include in here that is outstanding. For an example, my client was a mentor and a tutor. So we could put that in here as well. Um, and maybe you made the dean's list. Maybe you were the class valedictorian, anything like that that sets you apart and shouts out how fabulous you are. And then you could put a broader description in here if you like, if you want to get into more detail. Let me just do something silly here, but to say I'm great. And also there is a spot at the bottom here that you could upload media if you wanted to, or links. So let's say you made a video during your school year or your time at Royal Roads, and it's relevant. That's a good place where you could add this as well. There is a button at the bottom, share with your network. And if you are ready to share with your network, turn it on. If you are still editing and correcting, that kind of thing, keep it turned off, because as soon as you hit the save key, it's going to send out that information to everybody that's in your LinkedIn. So I'm just going to leave it on for now and then save. Just on that topic of sharing with your network, because you probably remember seeing it also in your when you were doing your experience section, is that there is actually a spot on the bottom here. Isn't that interesting? Okay. Yeah, sorry, they've moved it. It's up at the top in the experience section. Again, if you want to create your profile, or if you've already got the experience in there, but now you want to add something else that's just kind of exciting after the fact, you can put in the new text, turn on the toggle, save, and then once again, that'll send out that information to your whole network. All right, and a little ninja trick. A lot of people don't realize that we can do that. All righty. Moving on from here now, I am going to start talking about credibility in LinkedIn. And the way that you get that is from other people talking you up. All right, we can talk about ourselves, how great we are. Well, most of us don't, but as soon as somebody else endorses you or agrees with you or says how great you are, then that increases your credibility tenfold. So the way to start fleshing that out is you head onto the add section, you go down to skills, open it up, click on the skills button, and it gives you, LinkedIn gives you a number of suggestions that they think would be good for you. So for the field that you've chosen. So with our little civil engineer, public engineering would be good. Time management, strategy, AutoCAD, problem solving, floor plans. That's all great, but maybe she also needs to suggest that she is up on her environmental impact assessment, right? That's important for civil engineers. So you can just go on, and you are allowed to put in 50 skills. Oh, look at there, we got it. We're an all-star. And I suggest that you try and do that, as long as what you're putting in there is relevant to the positions that you're looking for. Also, if you actually have a LinkedIn profile that you have skills in there, take a look through them and remove the ones that are no longer relevant. And that's something that you should do on an ongoing basis. So you only want people to search for what you want to be found for. Okay, I think that probably makes sense. Alrighty, so those are your skills and endorsements. Now, the other thing that is really important is that you start getting recommendations from people. Both the skills and the recommendations are just things that LinkedIn algorithm loves. The more that you have, the more of a chance it is that when recruiters are doing a search that you'll actually be found in it. It's not just putting it in, it's also, there's a few other things, engagement. and having skills at your endorsements and recommendations are huge, huge, huge factors. All right. So how you do ask for a recommendation, it's a little tricky actually. And what you would do is you find a person that you would like to write a recommendation for you. So when you hit the search button at the top, and we'll be talking more about search and filter in the next video, but when you hit the search key, it brings up people in your network already. Now, poor Veronica, the only person she knows is me, so that's why my name popped up. But well, if she had nobody in her network, she could actually start typing somebody else's name and it would also bring up suggestions as well. But we're just going to go with Lynn for now. And what will happen is that is going to bring up Lynn's LinkedIn profile. And the way that you recommend or get a recommendation from Lynn is you click on the More button and request a recommendation. You'll just have to fill out the mask. Basically, how do you know her? Lynn mentored her, or mentored you, I guess. And what was the position that you were in? Perhaps it's a student at Seneca College. Next, and then, hi Lynn, can you write me a recommendation? I also recommend that you do not just send it like this. Get in touch with the person ahead of time. Ask them whether it's okay. And the other thing that I would ask them is that I know that you're probably really busy, and if you like, I can actually write that recommendation. How would you feel about that? 99% of the time, people will just be absolutely thrilled that you do that for them. So I know it's easy to feel a little bit funny about doing that, but honestly, most people that I've dealt with are really appreciative of the fact that they don't have to think too hard. And they usually will edit it a little bit and then send it back. And when you actually get the recommendation back from them, you have the option whether you want to accept it or not, or ask them to change it. And it comes up saying, would you like to edit? And then if you send it back to them, no, you got this word wrong, or you did this wrong, and then they can change it and send it back to you. Okay. So Lynn, can you send me a recommendation? It tells me down here that the request was sent. That's awesome. And then what will happen, Lynn will get it, and then she will send a recommendation back to you. And this is how you send them back to people, is you send back, you click the recommend key, and then pretty much go through the same format that we did before. All right. A couple of things I'm just going to mention about on my LinkedIn profile. First of all, is down at the bottom, you can see that I've got a number of recommendations here from people, and the more the better. And it's always important to give as many as you get. And skills and endorsements, if you can get as many recommendations as you can. I was talking about the education section. When I was going to the University of Victoria, I wound up winning an award there. So I included that here. You can see that, right? So this is the kind of thing when I was talking about, if you have something specific that you can add, make sure you put it in there because it really counts. Okay, so enough about me and all of my colors. There's my featured sections. So they, like I said, really good, wow, poppy colors. So back to Veronica. View her profile. Here she is again, and what we are going to do with Veronica now that we've got skills and endorsements and all that sort of stuff is we are going to just fill out some of her accomplishments as well, and any of these things that you may have done, projects, honors, awards. Languages is huge. Again, it's a LinkedIn's algorithms love people that have multi-languages, so make sure you fill out as many as you have. The other thing that's really interesting, a lot of people don't realize that you can do this, but supported languages, you can actually add your profile in another language. So if your target audience is in France, you can actually set it up so that your profile comes out in English and in French, in French, depending on who's reading it. So that's really a wonderful feature. And I had a client that we did that with just 6 months ago. Alrighty, so that is something that gives you a lot of credibility. Some of the other things too is now you want people to know that you're seeking work, right? That's the whole point of this, I think. So a couple of different ways that you can show that you're open to work. Number one, let's click open the tab, finding a new job, and this menu will pop up. Now, we all know Veronica does really not want to be searched out to be a retail supervisor. What she really wants to be is a civil engineer. Anything that has anything to do with civil engineering. And she could put in a number of different titles in here. But we're going to take off retail supervisor because she doesn't want to get searched for that. But also you could add a variety of locations, you know, Sydney, British Columbia. You could put in China, California. Just keep going if you're open to working in different locations. If you're open to remote work, say so here. Yeah, I'm open to remote. When are you ready? I'm ready immediately. And I don't care what kind of work it is. I want it. I want to get a foot in the door. So I'm putting my name on everything. This is really important, this part here. So choose who sees who's open. And you have two choices. You can do it for all LinkedIn members. So this is everybody in that's on LinkedIn can see your that you're open to work. And what happens when you do that is you get this little red banner that says open to work. And there are a number of reasons why I do not like it. One of the reasons is that I feel that it seems a little bit desperate, and I hate that. So I recommend that you don't do that. Other people do not want perhaps their boss to know that they are seeking work, or other people for whatever reason. So I always suggest that instead of using that feature, that you use the recruiters only. Okay, and save it. So you're still going to take advantage of people who are recruiters that are doing job searches, right? But it's just not public. It's just not everybody in the world knows about it. All right. Now, one of the things too I want to point out here is strengthen your profile. And LinkedIn actually suggests that you update your headline to show the current education or the current title that you have. Always say no. Always put your value proposition in there and a title. I don't know why they do that, actually. It just weakens your whole profile by updating the headline to match your title or your education. All right. Okay, job alerts. That's something else that's really relevant here. If you're looking for work in a specific industry or a specific company, and you want to be alerted when jobs come open there, you just click on this little thing. I think it's a briefcase, I think is what that is. And it will suggest different jobs that LinkedIn thinks that would be good for you. Instead of that, you pick out which one you want. So let's say you want to be civil engineering professional, and here you go. It's giving you a whole slew of companies that are hiring right now. And these are some of the filters that you put on here. You can change these, all kinds of things. Like, let's say you want to work for IBM. You can add that in there. Perhaps you want to work for, Kerwood, Legal, I don't know, City of Victoria, and just have to put this in there, and it'll bring up positions that are open now. If you want to get rid of all of those filters, just hit reset, and then it takes you back to all kinds of other options in there. So just have to toggle the job alert on here, and when that's on for the companies that and titles and so on that you're interested in, whenever something comes available there, when you have that toggle on, you will be notified that those jobs are available. Alrighty, now going back to your profile, these are a couple of beefs that I hear from recruiters all the time. A lot of people don't properly update their contact information. It's vital that you do that. Make sure that it is correct, that it has your location in there. For one thing, it's very important If you have a website, like the one that you're building for in your portfolio that you'd like to include in here, pop it in. You don't necessarily always have to put your birthday in there. Notice that they don't put the year. But it is kind of a nice way to connect and stay connected to people. So I recommend putting your birthday in. All right. Some people want their home phone in there. Other people don't. And again, that's completely up to you. But you do have to make sure that you've got something in there that makes it really easy for recruiters to find you. All right. The other thing that I'm going to tell you is to make sure that your URL is updated. When you first join LinkedIn, you get something that looks like this with a bunch of numbers on it. First of all, it's hard for people to remember that. And second of all, it does kind of smack of newbie. So we want you to look like a professional. So we bring up this new tab, as you can see. Here's your home tab that we were in before. It's going to show you the difference again. And there you go. This takes you to this other tab. So if you want to update your URL, see whether or not you can make something more memorable. So this is Jones, Veronica. It may or may not be available depending on whether somebody has already taken it. If you have a common name, chances are that it will be taken and you might have to mess around a little bit, but there you go, success. So now we have a much easier LinkedIn URL to remember. Security settings as well. You want to make sure that your profile is public, visibility is open to the public, all right? And that you have all of these toggles on in here as well so that people can find you whether they have LinkedIn Recruiter or not. Sometimes that's important, all righty? Okay, I think that is about it for now. And again, if you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I don't want you getting frustrated with it. Of course, I will be in Wednesday's Collaborate class. I'm ready to take questions from you if you like. I am also going to be making a third video that is all about networking and so on. I think you'll probably really enjoy it. So folks, for now, I say goodbye and we'll be talking soon, okay? Enjoy, have fun.